and welcome back to Parliament. And of course, Parliament sitting at the Cape Town International Convention Centre this morning, and of course tomorrow. And today is the first sitting of the National Assembly for the 7th administration in South Africa. And of course, speaking to us now, we've got with us the Secretary to Parliament, Mr. Xolile George. Thanks so much for speaking to us this morning. And are you confident that everything is good and set up for this morning?
Good morning, Sakina. Good morning to all the SABC News viewers. We are quite excited today. This is one of the most important milestones in affirming the adherence to our constitutional order since 1994. And many people tend to forget the importance and the symbolic significance of this event. This is once more another testament for our country that it holds true to its own choices politically, that the democratic ideals that shape our constitutional dispensation hold firm. Elections are held every 5 years since 1994 without fail, meaning that every 90 days after the end of a term, there will be elections in the country. There will be outcomes, there will be a parliament, there will be a new government. So 2024 is no different. So the stability message that is sent everywhere in the world gives a firm undertaking that South Africa provides leadership to the rest of the continent and provides leadership largely to the rest of the world. And we're grateful that this parliament would now usher in a 7th administration for our country and make sure that today it elects men and women who must lead our country both at the level of parliament as the legislative arm of the state, as well as the head of state, who would then proceed to form a government that he or she would lead in taking our country forward.
So, firstly, the precinct that we are at right now, questions around how much it costs Parliament to actually have these sittings here, and how far are you with regard to the renovations at the actual Parliament?
Well, Sakina, this precinct has now been declared in terms of the Powers and Privileges Act of 2004, meaning that it is now part of the extension of Parliament. We currently have a situation in our Parliament, as everybody would know, where we had fire that destroyed the buildings of Parliament. So we don't have a facility for a sitting of a chamber as we speak. However, we're busy reconstructing Parliament, and that work is steadily taking its shape, which we envisage that by 2026 April, we would have a new Parliament of the Republic of South Africa that would rise from the phoenix that we have seen that happened on the 3rd of January 2022. So with regards to this facility, we had to hire a facility that would be conducive for the first sitting of Parliament, different to other sittings. You will see that since 2022, Sakina, we've been hiring the City Hall for sauna, opening of Parliament and so on. And that facility is conducive for a sitting where you will be able to have one item, that is the delivery of the State of the Nation by the President. But different to that one is the first sitting of Parliament. Why is it different? It's different in the sense that here the proceedings take a different shape. So it is about prosecuting the business of the day in such a manner that you must also make provision for voting infrastructure. Setting voting infrastructure, you need balloting, you need counting rooms, you need all of those issues, which ordinarily in a city hall, you don't have it in that hall facility. So we had to choose a facility that covers our ability to raise such capacity that we need to be able to operate conducive, create caucus rooms, create in the city halls, you won't be able to find those. The cost that we normally hire for events of this nature, just to give a context, in 2019, the 6th administration, we spent 43 million rand to be able to undertake. So the cost is not only the sitting of today and tomorrow, the cost is about bringing 400 members, bringing their guests, bringing other parties, making sure that those members are accommodated because they're not yet activated to be members. So we hire hotels, transportation, and then thereafter, the same members, after the election of the office bearers, you prepare them to take them to Pretoria for the inauguration. Again, you pay all of those costs. So this time around in 2024, the cost is were budgeting 58 million rand. It was 43 in 2019, and you cover the 5 years. And the fact that in 2019 there was a chamber. So you didn't have to hire a facility like ICC, where you pay approximately about 20 million rand to be able to have this sitting for the next 5 days.
So the other question I have for you is around the amendments that were gazetted by the Chief Justice, and just how that's going to impact the sitting here today.
The Chief Justice promulgated rules which he is empowered to do so in terms of the Constitution in convening the first sitting. So those were publicized. Yesterday, further amendments were made by Chief Justice as a presiding officer for the event to make sure that order is present in the House, decorum, and also provide for any other eventualities to assist the proper performance of the business of the House.
Eventualities, is this something that the intelligence has informed you about?
No. Remember, in setting proceedings and rules, you are able to set rules probably different to the normal sittings of a House. So as you canvass all issues that would assist you in executing your work, then you are able to make sure that broadly you have rule infrastructure that is adequate to deal with the business.
As far as the number of guests that you are expecting here today, are you able to give us a figure?
We have made provision for about 400. That also includes guests of members, which is a tradition of Parliament, that members would be allowed to bring guests, but it is a limited provision. For instance, we provide about 50, which is shared by various political parties in terms of the formula set. And we also have guests from other state institutions who are present here. We've got media, yourselves locally and internationally. So there's 400 members that will be sitting in the chamber in terms of the formal sitting of the House, which the Chief Justice would preside over and usher in the new administration of Parliament in terms of the election of the Speaker, election of the Deputy Speaker, and thereafter followed by the election of the President-elect of the Republic of South Africa.
So security detail, has that been stepped up for today?
There's general security detail that looks at all our events, especially events that bring all three arms of the state. Like today, you've got judiciary, you've got the executive, you've got legislature. So it becomes a multi-pronged approach, Sakina, not only the parliamentary security of Parliament, you have police, you've got all other agencies of the state who have jurisdiction on questions of security.
Mr. George, we'll leave it there for now. But of course, we are around, you are around. So if there's a need to check in with the Secretary to Parliament, Mr. Xolile George, we will do that once more. But of course, it's all systems go here at the Cape Town International Convention Centre. And this is now a parliamentary precinct. And we are waiting to see what will happen later today. For the first time, it is not certain that the President of the ANC, who've been dominant since 1994, will actually see a president come from their ranks. And it's going to be interesting to see whether for the first time we get over that simple majority or whether there will be rounds of elimination. All of that is a possibility here today.